Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the perpetually underrated Zerg player in the red. We have SHIN. Up against our best chance at a StarCraft 2 dynasty, the younger brother of former Zerg world champion Reynor, somewhat ironically playing Terran. It's BabyMarine. A Terran versus Zerg showdown to determine if yet another European can rise up and take down the Koreans, or if we've had enough of that SHIN. But either way, before we get started, it'd be awesome if you could smash that like button and maybe even subscribe. Help me counter the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,567 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better than these first Zerglings as the Reaper pokes and prods in, Queen about to pop out, but just keeping the Zergs honest. If they send out the early lings, then the Reaper might kill a drone. The creep tumor may never happen. But Queen and none of the Zerglings taken down, so the Reaper unable to stop the spread, at least to start. But it's already going to be a heavy macro game. We got 3 command centers on the way for BabyMarine. Third one in the main base. Not too ambitious, but also not unexpected. SHIN with a quick third himself, pulling off a gas for the most part after getting Zergling speed. So a stock standard start that we've worked out kind of down the middle. There is a small chance that either side could go for some crazy cheese, like pull the boys Hellbat push or a Roach Oven. But especially in the lower stakes tournaments in smaller series, it's usually not worth the risk if you're relatively confident in your macro play. And even sometimes then, if one player thinks they're much better than the other, they'll be on the heavy lookout for the cheese. BabyMarine has been going up against these top players for a little while now. Still, obviously not finding the success of his brother. I'm not sure about his League of Legends rank, though, so hard to compare. But recently taking more and more matches, and young European Terrans are always a danger. Cloak Banshees on the way. A handful more lings for SHIN, assuming you can fit like 6 lings in your hand, which big hands. Should be easy to hit subscribe with. Banshee. Marine stutter stepped in, but SHIN is easily going to see the cloak on the way. And even if it was a fake, you really have to hedge your bets by adding in the spore crawlers in a relatively timely fashion. Eventually a lair. Actually hunting the Queen. Has to dodge his own grenade for a moment, though, unfortunately. And the Banshee just hanging out back at home. SHIN gets a bit supply blocked, but easily fixing it now. So far, keeping quick control of the creep. Queens on either side trying to zone out. A single queen can be isolated and killed, which is why they travel in packs. Lairs on the way. Stim as well. So it will be a bio play out of BabyMarine, which, I mean, I guess makes sense considering. Joining the likes of relatively unoriginal, yet endearing names like Hero Marine, Marine King, Marine Prince in Winter. So I believe he's 3 or 4 years younger as well, and Reynor isn't the oldest hand. So definitely in that range of going to have ridiculous micro, though a bit headstrong. Brenda Bounce hits all 3 queens, and that has always been, especially for Terrans, it's most noticeable. But for all players in general, Cyril even had this time when the mechanics and the speed are obviously there. I think Clem is clearly the best example, where sometimes he'd just get wins based on sheer mechanical skill and talent. Even when he was making the wrong calls, he was doing it so right it didn't matter. But when you make the right calls and with the best micro, well, that's when magic happened. And world championships as well. Well, Hellions try to run by. Brad, no, who was supposed to? We got Zerglings, don't worry about it. He's not Clem. I don't. Well, that's just rude. Banshee's coming in, trying to hunt down the queens. Not quite enough energy for transfuse on one. The other might be able to pick off one of the Banshees. Gets one. And, well, another queen will be taken down, but not before more come up. And Shin at 69 drones and counting. A very nice economy considering we're 6.5 minutes in the game and BabyMarine attempted a run by to, well, it was not a success. Losing all the Marines, losing a Banshee and the Reaper means no map control. The creep spread is going to be completely unchecked at this point. And Shin is about to have that sort of massive 4+ base economy and head into Hive. What that Zerg players nowadays really just dream of for the most part. BabyMarine unfortunately has squandered the advantage of the Hellions in an attempt. No, okay. Shuts the door at the last moment in an attempt to get the damage done, but he dug too deep. He dug too greedily. And now, gonna have to rely on the Medivacs and the Banshee. Well, the Banshee did live, so it's gonna shut down the base off to the right side. And by right side, I mean left side. So there were only 2 choices. Marines. Just cutting through the roaches for now. No upgrades yet, but the roaches, they only have speed. The Hive has begun at 7.5 minutes. He's got 81 drones. Of course, BabyMarine has a 67 SCV, so he's not slouching economically. Hasn't really taken any damage on that front. Combat shield isn't done, and until it is, it's very hard for the Marines to engage again against a critical mass of Roach Ravager. And Shin, the production tab extending an uncomfortable amount of the way across the screen. That's how you know, especially a Zerg player is doing well. Meanwhile, 1-1. About to complete. Already completed for BabyMarine. Shin gonna have the ranged attack in Carapace. Baneling speed is actually pretty far off, giving maybe a little wiggle room for those Marines and tanks to get some extra damage done. And until the Hive Tech is online and Vipers are a threat, well, the Marine tank is still very, very easy to get the damage done. Well, the Marines dodging back. The Banelings enough to zone them out. Meanwhile, though, another double drop coming in. The Spore Crawler doing a lot of damage. Will kill off both Medivacs, which feels a bit lackadaisical there, though he's going to target down more drones. Shin is replacing them with 20 more. Literally embodying the Zerg. Kill one of us and 2 more pop up. I think that's Hydras, but this game, none of them in the production tab. Ultraless Cavern is on the way. And oh my, adrenal glands. Shin clearly taking this seriously right now. He's going for the ultimate Zergling tech, and he's doing it at 9 minutes into the game. The Marines, though, cutting down another few dozen drones. And Shin will actually be brought to a lower worker count. The rest of the Lings and Banes have to come back. Spots the Viper coming out, going to target down the Hatcher. Yes, finishes it off. Pops back into the Medivacs and heads out. And Shin, I think, now has squandered his advantage. The potential economy and that crushing sort of Zerg, the 300 supply Zerg, where you have 200, you might lose a round, and then you come in with another 100 Zerglings, half a dozen Ultras, and a few Vipers. But, unfortunately, or, well, I guess fortunately for BabyMarine, whoever you're rooting for, if you want good games for the fans and games to go on, well, BabyMarine able to cut down those drones. Though he does not... Does he have a Ghost Academy? No. Liberators on the way, yes. But with Ultras and Adrenal Glands Lings, even though BabyMarine has a comfortable economy, as well as 4 bases, he picks up and he's heading out with the Medivacs again. Part of the reason Shin took so much damage is he went straight up the tech tree. He had the Hive at 7.5 minutes. He had almost 90 drones. He's getting back there as well. But he expanded very widely and teched all the way up, which means the branches needed some pruning. And BabyMarine was up to the task, but he still has a lot more to go. Scatters the corrosive biles, leans through it, but the Ultralisk is on the way. Get out of the way! And you see there the actual change to the Ultra with push priority, which essentially means it can shove your friends out of the way. Though not your enemies, unfortunately. They still are something you have to cut through. The Ultras will force out a response. We got more Marauders on the way. 8 barracks. Pretty much all in the main base. No Ghost Academy yet, as BabyMarine is working on 3-3. That drops down the center. Double Parasitic Bomb. It doesn't stack, but he's spreading the damage quite efficiently. One medevac goes down. Oh, the Ghost Academy is done. I missed it. BabyMarine clearly did not. The siege tanks on the high ground. Very difficult to break without vision. Or Vipers. Or and gratuitous amount of corrosive bile. SHIN. Casual 1000 APM. BabyMarine no slouch at 400. For comparison, Clem is between 450 and 500. And BabyMarine's brother is usually 600 to 7. So SHIN, one of the few players up there who can compete with him on that front. And really, I do feel like SHIN uses that speed. He plays fast, but maybe not as efficiently. The Vipers are taken down. The Ultras close in. Banelings roll through the Marines, and the Zerg are coming. And who's there to stop them? Widowmine will take some of the Banelings. But the start of the fight was a crushing victory for SHIN. And now BabyMarine has to scramble back as his fourth base is annihilated. Walks through his own corrosive bile, kills some of his Ravagers, but also takes down the Liberators with him. Ghosts line up their shots, knock out one of the Ultras, kiting back against the other. Ultra speed finishes mid-fight, but won't help the Ultras avoid the Liberators to the left side. BabyMarine salvages the fight with the Ghost reinforcements, but SHIN has 82 drones. He's got 5 bases, going on 6, and he's got another round of production. It wasn't quite enough to bring him back to 200 supply, which means he's not going to be able to refill instantly, and somewhat unfortunately, he's about to lose most of his Overseers. He's going to have to rebuild those just in case, even though BabyMarine has yet to research Ghost-flavored Cloak. Well, the fight goes well to start and then kind of tapers off near the end. And that is, it's a fine line to walk between a good trade and a disaster for Zerg against an entrenched Terran player. And honestly, I think that objective accomplished. Hitting the 4th base, hammering it over and over is what's required. And also, Infestors are very helpful. Catches the Marines, holds them down, knocks them out. The Adrenalings ripping them apart. SHIN actually lost so many Overlords and Overseers that he has to rebuild them. But he will do so. And he still has a huge economy. But so does BabyMarine. He's got the Mules. He's back to 4 bases. 67 SCVs. Importantly, we're not quite at the point. The main base is mining out 4 more command centers on the way. And a fusion core is in production as well. Now, honestly, I'm not sure what BabyMarine's late game looks like. I'm not sure if he prefers the Battlecruiser Meg style, the Goomy Bro style, or if he's more likely to go for the Advanced Ballistics Liberators. I'd say Liberators, but there's a Fungal, catches a group. Widowmine helps the Zerg more than the Terrans. Another Widowmine dragged out the Ultras, just crunching through. A Greater Spire on the other side as well. SHIN really pulling out all the late game tech. And the fact he built adrenal glands means he's taken this very seriously. Or at least he felt like he had some more breathing room. It might be a mental block against players who he's a little more intimidated by. I'm not sure. I've discussed the psychology of it before. And I'm not a doctor. I just play one on the internet. Subscribe today for more medical advice. Like, these statements have not been evaluated by anyone. 15 more Banelings on the way. How many Ultras? 5 Ultras. I think that's about the right number. Enough Ultras that you can't kite them or target them easily, but not so many Ultras they become a liability. So, like, 5 to 8 on the outside. The Widowmines. He misses the mark on a lot of the corrosive bile. Some of them land. Another Ultra. Hey! Wait up, guys! The Marauders. And he has +3 Carapace as well as chitinous plating. This is as tanky as Ultras get. But the Marauders do a lot of damage with those grenade launchers. And the Hatchery gonna be feeling the brunt of it. Parasitic Bomb on 2 sets of medevacs, doing a lot of damage. Finally quarantines. dealing with it for now. Another attack to the north side will force the northern base to lift, but BabyMarine has established the low ground base. Infestor's underneath. Does he have Neural Parasite? No, the Infestor is actually underneath the Siege Liberator. Brood Lords will be actually scouted by the Widow Mine. And more ghosts on the way. Fortunately for BabyMarine, he was able to transition into the counter to Brood Lords, which is ghosts, from the counter to Ultras, which is ghosts. Giving him options here. Vikings on the way as well. The Liberators, how many Corruptors left over? Only 3 Corruptors. Infestor gets a fungal. He's got another one. The Ultras trying to chew through. EMP late. And he prevents the snipes from lining up. But Susan, why are we on the front lines? Because you won't move your copious behind, Brenda. We're identical twins. Well, then who's more of an expert? Now is not the time. Snipes lining up, knocks out a few broods, yanks at a ghost. EMP lands, nuclear missile in production. Widow Mine connects on the Vipers, almost takes him out. SHIN, Ravager. Meanwhile, the Vikings closing in. BabyMarine actually winning this brawl of a fight. The Broodlords really struggling to grind through, but eventually the anti-air is lacking. And the ground army, the medevacs all badly bruised, but able to evacuate some of the ghosts. The Liberators technically have an anti-air mode and showing it here. The Vikings forced to kite back. And a hectic fight from both sides. But I think BabyMarine not giving up any ground is a win, as both players are clearly trying to replenish their army and failing to do so quickly. SHIN is out of gas. In fact, SHIN has lost 10,000 more resources, including 3,000 more gas. The ghost count is up to 10. Nuclear launch detected. He fires it off to the high ground. How many Overseers? Just 2 Overseers. Definitely spots the dot here. Okay, well, he really hates his Overseers, doesn't he? Of all the things to be hit by the nuclear missile, he's gonna need a few more of those. Clearly not playing a roguelike game here. Zerglings dart into the natural, and BabyMarine doesn't have that much coming out, especially things that actually deal with Zerglings. These are the kind of awkward backstabs that can leave you off balance for the counter swing. Well, bad siege tank. Caduceus reactor on the way. Advanced ballistics already done. +3 mech armor is completed. Though no ship weapons. 2 Thors in production. Wow, going for the Norse god counter to the Broodlords. Vikings with Thors. And of course Ghost. Not sure how that works into it. Thor's a solid counter to the Broods. The counter to Thor's being Neural Parasite, because the best chance of beating Thor's is with Thor's. But with Ghosts on the back line, this is the ultimate late game army. Some Liberators, Thor's, Vikings, and Ghosts. It's great to see someone actually working in the Vikings. A lot of the time, players will rely entirely on Ghosts in order to deal with it, which can work. It can work just fine. But having 2 dimensions, forcing them, like, if at some point SHIN overcommits and just doesn't have enough Corruptors, well, then the Vikings can take out the Broods on their own. And if he undercommits, of course, well, then the Thors are even more effective because there's not enough Broodlords. So this healthy mix, and depending on who you ask, I guess, of units, is certainly the way to go. Now, the map is being cut in twain, as both sides, the fact that BabyMarine is trying to take the 12 o'clock base right next to SHIN's here, snipes one of the Hydras. Does he have the building upgrades? He may not. Yep. Thinking about it at that moment. Building armor on the way, and What a save! The SCVs are able to hold. He scans to get rid of Zerglings as he gets building up. Did he queue them both up on one engineering? No, he just didn't get... High-sec gutter trekking is too much of an expense, okay? For someone with 3K. Nuclear launch detected. Firing it off onto the high ground yet again. Another attempt to break the base. The SCVs? Great target fire with the planetary, which means, well, if he had building armor, it might make the difference. But the planetary actually target fired right before they got into range, which means the baneling count wasn't enough to break it. And SHIN again. The Zerg breaking before the fortress does. Another Spire on the way. He's already got +1 air weapons working on the carapace. He wants double upgrades. More Thors. Things getting a bit more complicated for SHIN. There's still plenty of resources on the map, but we're starting to actually get into the bean counter phase of the game. Well, we start clicking on the mineral fields and the gas geysers and seeing how much is left, as opposed to how much they're currently mining. The Ghost building armor about to complete, and again, the Banelings will try to close in. But it's not enough. 3 times! SHIN attacks this base. And 3 times BabyMarine holds. Oh, SHIN. There are 10 Vikings, 3 Thors, 3 Libera, healthy. There's only 3 Marauders and 1 Marine left of the original sort of unit composition. Ghost Mech now is the way of things, as he goes for +2 mech weapons. The Lords of the Brood. The entire feudal, well, accidental baneling nest, we've all been there. A Sporchard up the center. Mass turrets, but mass brood lords as well. 13 broods. And the spore crawlers to help out the Vikings. Enough of them to one-shot a parasitic bomb. Quarantines 1 Viking. The Ghost moving into position. Another planetary burning, but it holds yet again. SHIN taken, or the Changelings taken out. 2 more starports on the way. That'll bring us to 5 of them. The Ghosts? Oh no, point blank. Pops the Infestor. And nukes to deal. He's not even cloaked. No shame. Gonna take out a few more transferring drones and SHIN. A demonstration of what units can actually hit one. These spore crawlers and turrets have to. That's an uneasy impasse there. It feels like Thanksgiving nowadays. Americans will get that reference. Well, the tank. There's some burrowed lings, but the main army from BabyMarine, which is almost entirely lacking now in Marines. SHIN kind of running out of mining here. He's been ahead in income for the overwhelming majority of the game. But he's also lost 18,000 more resources, including 5,000 more Vespene gas, which is over 1 base of gas. Actually, it depends on how you measure it, because there are 2 rich Vespene bases, which only have 2250 apiece. So technically, that's 2 bases of gas in that case. Another nuke. I think he's gonna kill his own Widow Mine with it. Freeing up supply. Get some creep tumors. The spore crawlers will move forward as SHIN has had enough. The Ghosts will line up a volley though and knock some of the broods out of the sky. 10 more brood lords on the way. He's gonna go to nearly 20 of them. The Viking count, 11. The Thors. Does he have Neural Parasite? No! That is a massive oversight at this stage. A few Neural Parasites on the Thors at a key time is a game-winning move. But now with Thors and Ghosts, this is actually, SHIN, he had the money, but now BabyMarine has the money in the bank. He's played it cool against one of the best Zergs in Korea. Actually, second rank behind Dark. And BabyMarine again. The nukes. A great job. The zoning nukes are really crushing it. This planetary with 71 kills, of course, is certainly not hurting. And none of those are broodlings, I don't think. Those are Zerglings, Banelings, Hydras even. Looking for something with the infestors, but shit is... Did he get a lurker den? No, he got Hydras added in. Does he have any Hydras? 3 Hydras mixed in. Army supplies are growing dramatically. The top left corner gonna mine again. See how long that one lasts. The Corruptors! The planetary can't shoot Corruptors. That might be the answer. Why is there an armory here? Don't worry about it. Huh. Well, this is... Well, the planetary survived hundreds of Zerglings. But it can't survive a Congress of Corruptors. So there we are. Of course, there are 2 more command centers ready to step in right now, so the command center scabs will take over immediately. And almost nothing changes. Optimistic Banelings, there's a couple Zerglings at the natural. The Mass Thor. Another Scorchard. The Broodlords will finally be seen. This is an optimistic place to research +3 mech weapons. Have no idea how the armory ended up there, but a new planetary will try to take fill the incredibly large shoes of its predecessor. Holding for now. Banelings trying to zone things out. Honestly, eating a lot of hits here. But the Vikings. How many Corruptors? 13. But there are 14 Vikings, and they have solid upgrades as well. The Infestors are obviously a threat. The Thors are trundling across the map. The Scorchards trying to zone things out. Banelings closing in on the Ghosts, making sure they can't snipe. And the Thors, this would be an incredible time to have that Neural Parasite, but the Ghost landed an EMP. Thors blasting into the Broodlords, besieging them with overwhelming amounts of Broodlings, though. And the numbers aren't there for BabyMarine. He's building 5 more Thors behind it. 4 Vikings, a couple Hellbats. But Shin will find the overwhelming numbers in this fight. And he's going to replenish his army with 20 more Hydralisks. And he's got 3 upgrades now completed in the sky. Almost maximum strength Zerg. Incredibly rare as it takes so long to finish those upgrades. But the Broodlords are on top of the reinforcing starports. Some of the Corruptors are clearing out the Liberators scattered throughout the map. BabyMarine found another base to mine from, but he's starting to run a bit lower on the gas, especially now that he's been denied 2 bases. The Vikings come where the corrupt shit. The Broodlords, several of them taken down on the way across. He may just ignore the spores. Broodlords cannot land. So he's just tanking the spore damage in order to hunt the broods. A Viking raid down the center. Meanwhile, the Hydras over to the right side of the map. Thors, of course, can compete on the ground with Hydras, but they're clearly... The Vikings are just killing the spores. The Broodlord's not reacting to it quite in time. More snipes. And Shin try... Awkward. The worst neighbors. Lurker Den is on the way. 4 siege tanks for BabyMarine, as both players kind of shift their unit compositions to try to get an advantage, as the map... We're fully in the bean counter phase. And how many beans are left? Got a couple thousand gas for Shin here. He's mined out of the rich Vest beans. There's a couple thousand in the top left corner because he hasn't been reliably mining there. BabyMarine. And a relatively fresh base down the center. And a few hundred to the north. So, a bit of a mixed bag. Still no Neural Parasite. Is that the new adrenal glands for Shin? Though, the Thors are getting surrounded. The Baneling's not particularly effective. But as Nesty taught us, enough Banelings will solve any problem. But that was simply not enough. Shin comes in with half the amount he needs. And now we'll need 4 times as much. He's lost 600 Zerglings to 100 Marines. Only 9 Thors have gone. It felt like so many more, but the siege tanks complementing the Liberators. There's actually 2,000 gas at this base still. Neural Parasite finally in production. But is it too late? BabyMarine is maxed out, though he doesn't have much in the bank at all. SHIN, on the other hand, has a whole lot of gas, but he's running thin on minerals. The Zerglings overrunning many of the reinforcements. Siege tank on the high ground. I don't think he ever restarted that +3 mech weapon. Sporecrawler takes out a Viking before it can take down more Broodlords. Both players dipping well under 50 workers. The army supplies are massive. Zergling counter. Gonna cut down even more SCVs. BabyMarine down to 28 of them, which is borderline. I don't think he needs very many. Oh, even more Zerglings. BabyMarine approaching the count he started with. 17 SCVs remain. There's a burrowed Zergling there. Denying that northern base. Vipers back in the production tab. Lurker, burrow speed, as well as Neural Parasite. Some very late game choices, but better late than never. SHIN still has... He's actually running out of mineral patches. He's going to need to build another round of infestors. I'm sorry, I lied. He builds 11 lurkers. And that is the majority of his minerals. I have no idea where he's building them. Okay, under the main army. Lurkers and Broodlords up against Liberators, Ghosts, Thors, and tanks. BabyMarine has the army to beat. But if the 3 infestors can get the key Neural Parasites, honestly, probably the best option at this stage would be Neural Parasiting Ghosts and EMPing Ghosts. Zerglings chewing through some SCVs. BabyMarine down to 10. Neither side has money. The Vikings, so many parasitic bombs, but also no cover. There's only one. Where's the anti-air? Where are the corruptors? There's no answer. He fungals, but there's... Well, the infestors are... They don't do much damage, but eventually... But there's literally no anti-air. He has no queens, which is not very many. The corruptors are somewhere. They're... No, SHIN! Trying to avoid the Selecto army hack. He has avoided the key parts of his army he needs. SHIN has corruptors just sitting by his 3rd base right now as BabyMarine is incinerating most of the rest of his economy. Both sides are flat broke. Not even enough minerals to make another unit. BabyMarine definitely has the army to beat. He has orbital commands. He has ghosts. But there are lurkers. If he runs out of scans... How many orbitals? 6 orbitals, so unlikely to run out of scans. He's got another base mining. The lurkers are a bit of a wild card here, as there's plenty to counter them. But if they find the perfect timing, they could easily do critical damage. Another orbital's landing. SHIN really can't let any of these... Hey! Oh, but it's burning. Only 8 SCVs remain. But he's still... let me through! Well... SHIN has no gas income, but he has a bit of minerals left. He still has a couple mineral patches to mine. In fact, he has like 1,000 minerals still at his 3rd. Which is kind of... He just consumed, I believe, his evolution chamber to death, which doesn't need that anymore. Though he only has +2 ranged attack. Upgrades are not quite maxed out. This is the supreme late game, though. Abducts the Liberators in. Is there enough anti-air to actually deal with them? Get back over here! Kills off most. 1 or 2 parasitic bombs could do devastating damage. Liberators will re-siege, which is a little offensive, and he can easily kill those. Just 1 parabomb will be enough. The Corruptors, Vipers going forward. Incredibly tense. Very hard to control these armies. I feel like Clem versus Cyril has given us a very unrealistic interpretation of how controlling these hugely spellcaster-based armies go. But the Liberators are trying to chase down SHIN. Where are the Corruptors? Liberator siege up. A single Hydra was it for the anti-air. Liberators pincushioning the Lurkers. Here come the Corruptors. EMP. And the Ghosts line up their shots. A volley across the board, and BabyMarine. Another EMP. SHIN's running out of real estate. BabyMarine still has a few orbitals to mine. Though, one of them is about to be hit yet again. Widowmine connects. The Lurkers. He wants to line up the shots. Trying to zone out the Ghosts. Hits the Vipers. And SHIN is out of minerals, out of gas, almost out of supply. GG! BabyMarine holds. It wasn't easy. And it wasn't quick. But after 700 Zerglings, 30 Broodlords, and he pulled back into the Turtle Terran, nearly 100,000 resources lost for SHIN. 67k for BabyMarine. He holds on, showing a patience and presence of mind that bodes well, but also SHIN with a particularly aggressive yet inefficient style. And it's just not enough. Wow. Well, we have one more comparison. And I thought we could get a comparison. Same map, same matchup. BabyMarine versus Solar. I don't think this match is quite as involved. But, I believe played in the same tournament as well. But here we go again with Reynor's brother, BabyMarine in the top right corner. And Solar, Cyril's stunt double in the bottom left. Think Neural Parasite back when the Thors were vulnerable. It's so easy to say from the observer perspective, like, why didn't you get that or that? Well, you know what? No. There's no excuse for not getting an upgrade that costs like 150 when you have 3,000 in the bank and 10 infestors. All right. SHIN, I think more conspicuously than any other player, at least at the top level nowadays, for getting key upgrades. He got his adrenal glands, but it had to give somewhere, I guess. And not having Neural Parasite in those key fights allowed BabyMarine to take good enough fights that eventually, barely, he broke through. And I also think with the amount of ghost loss, yeah, both armies are incredibly hard to control in that late game. That's why I don't think Clem and Cell make it look easy, but they set a standard that is... Even Reynor, literally... probably BabyMarine's biggest practice partner. I don't know. Maybe he hates his brother. No, don't be mean. Pretty sure he practices with him. But Reynor pretty notorious for playing much like SHIN. Well, one, very fast, and two, avoiding late-game spellcasters unless you desperately need to. Which, considering how BabyMarine just played, is now... I'm going back and saying that Reynor probably doesn't like practicing with him very much. Because I'm 1/3 Zerg myself. All right? Maybe a little more, depending on who you ask. But that late game style against the Porcupine Terran is, once you get into the Ghost Viking phase of things, it feels like your options are... that the options have been reduced to very minimal levels. So, you pretty much have to play this war of attrition with units that do not thrive in that environment. So. And now let's also point out BabyMarine taking on a top 10 player in SHIN and coming out ahead. Wasn't easy, wasn't super decisive, but approaching that level. Solar is another story of always being one of the very best and very rarely approaching that. He's won GSL. He's beaten Cyril in conspicuous matches, but has always been like the 4th best Zerg player. Right now, Cyril, Dark, Reynor, Solar. For many years, Rogue was up there, Sue, and Solar was always 4th best. Slightly off the podium, but still incredibly competent. And to this day, remains so, I might add. Actually, I think SHIN is ranked higher than Solar at the moment, which makes him 5th, technically. But... And also, Reynor hasn't played anything for several weeks, so... At least we have BabyMarine now. Unfortunately, unlike Reynor, he plays Terran. Why do I say unfortunately? Because, I actually can't remember the last time I saw a European Zerg in any of these weekly tournaments. That made it past, like, to the round of 8. Which, in a tournament with 30 players, is not... Thanks, Cyril. Like, it's just not worth his time. These tournaments take 3-5 hours out of your day. Clem and Max Packs, with all due respect, and there is respect, are degenerate gamers. Okay? They play all night. Considering the tournaments they play in, it is all night, like literally 3 a.m. Whereas Cyril, and I quote, it's getting a bit late. This will be the last game for me, he says on stream. At 6:30 p.m. Maybe that's the key to things. We've got quite a reprise, a bit of deja vu here. Thankfully the colors are different, otherwise, oh my god, even the triple bounce. If he runs by, I'm going to be struggling to... Maybe we should have picked the exact same. Then again, how do you get a better comparison? At this point, I think we're comparing the Zergs more than we're comparing BabyMarine's play, but it's getting real intense deja vu now. I know I watch a lot of games that are similar, but no, this is not a repeat. The Banshee's working on the 4th base. We overshoot. Brenda, this is a message from the Hatchery Owners Association. Hey, you! Hey! Brenda, why do they get to fly? Because only the Terrans are allowed to have nice things. Well, we should talk to the council. Susan, the council... The council's the problem. Sorry, Well, Hellions burning their way through the Evo chamber to prevent the death of the drone. The Zerglings looking for the surround on the Hellions, and there's enough of them that he can chase them off the creep. Double drop. Oh my god. I'm really trying to concentrate here, but it's hard. Now, here's the thing. These players play dozens of games most days. They're playing the same maps all the time. And in online tournaments, especially the smaller tournaments, they're going to do the same build on the same map most of the time. Like a pretty comfortable macro build. And that's why we're seeing the same things. There's a pretty set way of playing Zerg, and BabyMarine has his strategy for playing Terran. But oh my, even down to the Banshees to the north. But this time he has 2 of them. Off to a better start than against SHIN. I gotta stop pointing it out. It's only gonna make it worse. Hopefully nobody's paying more attention than I am to the games. They're just listening in the background on their TV in the other room or something and only getting excited when Brenda shows up or I say something that's completely off. Get off my creep! like and subscribe. Sorry. +1 carapace and +1 melee. Now completing. The double drop. Already 2-2 on the way for BabyMarine, who, those Marines now growing up pretty quickly. Solar at 165 supply. The depot wall. Honestly, I don't mind the staggered wall. It actually makes it a lot harder to break through. Though it looks kind of dumb, to be fair. The Queens working on spreading the creep out, but having a tough go of it. And a crazy shift click there. Marines working their way towards the north side base. If he could knock out the 5th base, that'd be very helpful. Double drop. Oh no! Full medevac of Marines taken down. Three hatcheries on the way for Solar. I was opting for a very quick hive. Hellbats! Gonna take out, even throws a grenade to pop the Reaper back to safety. Totally intentional, I'm sure. Tanks on the high ground and a 4th base being established. Things are starting to solidify here. Though Solar is maxed out, he's going to have a huge economy. He has not been delayed on any of his bases. He didn't lose 20-something drones. The amount of creep tumors is actually a speed bump here for BabyMarine. Creep tumors have very little HP, but build enough of them. Widowmine in position. And comes around the corner. It's an incredible hit. Meanwhile, BabyMarine getting cleared on the field. And by cleared, I mean, it was an okay trade. Now, Widowmine saving the day. Racking up 13 Zergling kills. The Hydras, Lings, and Banes. The 4th base going to be the focal point. Picks up another siege tank up to the high ground. +2 infantry, weapons, and armor now completed. Adrenal glands on the way, of course, as Hive completes. Vipers. Killing Claws is done. The Banelings are closing in, but able to target them down and thin out the Zerglings as well. And so are at risk of overextending and throwing the momentum back to his Terran counterpart. That changeling made it by somehow. Survived the culling. Lurker Den is on the way, Solar, with a more direct option in the late game. Oh my. Even down to the... What a simulation. Quadruple drop up to the north side. I think he just walked out, but he's got medevacs to be able to extract himself. Going straight for the hatchery. Might be able to take it out. Oh, bit of move command action and decides they'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Down goes a Marine as a bit of mismanagement will cost BabyMarine his opportunity there. But the Vipers yanks a tank down. Another one as well. Takes a few extra hits, but more tanks will replace them. But come on down. 3rd time's the charm. And the tanks have been removed. He also dropped out on a shift command, and the Zerglings just mauled him to death. What a traumatizing experience, but not for very long for those Marines and Marauders. Meanwhile, the Queens getting picked off. An awkward angle for both sides. I think it favors the Hydras for the most part. Speaking of, Hydra Lunge is on the way, but BabyMarine is nearly maxed out. He's building ghosts. He's got 3/3 infantry, weapons, and armor in production right now. So, falls back. EMP hits the Viper's blinding cloud. Doesn't quite hit the planetary, which means it's been firing this entire time. So we're trying to break through with the help of the Banelings, finding mild success. The Zerglings are chewing on the wall to the north side. Snipes come out, take out a couple Hydras. Zerglings make it into the mineral line at the 3rd. A single ghost. But the Adrenaling's kind of dangerous. Will be taken out. Lurkers. 11 of them at a time. How many ghosts? 4 ghosts on the field. BabyMarine doesn't quite have 3-3 done. So there's an opportunity for Solar to move in before BabyMarine has the strongest bio that he possibly can. There's also +3 Carapace finishing up, but with these lurkers done, Scan, gonna pull back. There's only one siege tank though. Zerglings in the third. And Widowmine hits Terran and Zerg alike. 3-3 now completed, +2 vehicle plating as well. Vipers gathering more energy. Planetary taken down. The lurkers just slicing through it. And now targeting the base on the high ground. There's one siege tank at the back, far out of range of all but a few Hydras. Will be taken out. Now going to start eviscerating SCVs at the fourth, and he just taps it out. BabyMarine unable to withstand the focused aggression of Solar. Kind of putting out a clinic for SHIN on maybe what he could have, should have, would have done, but unfortunately unable to stabilize before Solar just runs him over. If you're going to go for the planetaries, you got to take them fast or not at all. As constantly sending Lings and Banes to their death, while cinematic is not a good long-term strategy, as we learned. So, what do you think? BabyMarine clearly? A little rough around the edges with the micro. And I think those are the moments that we pick out as opposed to the overall macro, which was clearly almost on par with even the top Korean Zergs. So, do we have another challenger? I think not quite yet. I haven't seen him much in Terran versus Protoss, though we might have to take a look next. And hopefully he can convince his brother to play against him in some of these tournaments a little more often as well. But, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And if you have the means and motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. Thank you to our Mule Tier patrons, Big Jiggy Dor K, Mario, and Thomas B. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free. At least for now. So thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Make sure autoplay is on the right video. I think it's over there. I don't... Wherever. Otherwise, good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.